Janelle here. And looks like I was actually super early on my UFC Fight Night 37 picks. So since I only did 3, I will do additional picks on my other platforms, probably the day before or right before the fight. So you got to follow me everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, all that's in the description. So we are actually here to talk about Triller Fight Club 3, Legends 2, Fight Club 3 actually happened last night. I did make 2 picks on the top 2 fights, so let's go ahead and get into that. I got 1 and 1 right, 1 wrong. I'll take 500 any day. So first up, co-main event, and we saw the legend Anderson Silva, who I picked to beat also a legend in his own right, Huntington Beach bad boy Tito Ortiz, and Anderson did. This ended in the first round, like a minute and a half or something like that into the first round. Tito was coming after him. He was trying to crowd him. You could tell him he was trying to overwhelm him. He was trying to just get on him early, make sure he couldn't use that reach advantage. Eventually, he crowded him all the way into the corner. He's trying to go off. There were some punches that were getting through. You had Anderson ducking and diving and weaving and ducking and diving and moving back and trying to, doing all of that. And even before he got him into the corner, Anderson, he was trying to misdirect with the hands. He was trying to bait him into hitting him while dodging punches at the same time. So there was actually a lot of fun in that little minute and a half that we saw. So anyway, back to the corner where he's dodging and diving, ducking under, ducking, diving, switching his head back. There was punches getting up through the guards, coming around the guards, also hitting the gloves and sliding off the gloves. And so it looked like, okay, what's going to happen here? Gap in the motion. Anderson comes up, lands a left hook, stuns Tito. He actually falls back against the ropes, and then as he's kind of doubled over, Anderson is coming up behind him and he's hitting him with shots, hits him with some clean shots, and he falls all the ground, rolls over face first, and is knocked all the way out. Sleep. He was knocked out. He actually knocked him out. They had a close-up right on his face. His eyes were all something about that close-up was disrespectful. Anyway, so Anderson won the fight, and yeah, you know what? He's been looking pretty good. Was he 46 years old? It looks like he's taking this seriously. Like I said, he's the only one so far who has a win over like a legitimate boxer with Caesar in the last fight, and I'm game to see him have some more fights. How about you? And who would you like to see Anderson Silva fight next? I think Big Paul has been thrown out there. Yeah, I love me some Anderson Silva. So who would you like to see him fight next? Because clearly he's not done. Now, main event. And I did not get this pick. I chose the legend, Mr. Evander Holyfield, boxing legend Evander Holyfield, to beat MMA legend, I'm about to call him Tito Belfort. Vitor Belfort. And okay, so yeah, Vitor won this fight, and this ended in the first round as well. And so there wasn't really any filling out period. Vitor came after him. Evander was looking a bit slow, just steps kind of lumbering. He's 58 years old. Vitor is 44, clearly the one that still had more physical ability left, faster, more range of movement, still had his balance more. He was made Vitor look like a young 36-year-old, you know what I'm saying? So it was very clear from the beginning. At one point, Vitor did actually land with a shot. I believe it was like a left hook or situation, and it landed, but then it also looked like Evander just kind of lost balance as well. So the punch did land, but then he kind of tripped up over his feet and he was like down to the ground. He looked like an old man falling, and that happened in the first round. He got up quick. For him, even the way he got up, it was very apparent that it was just nerve-wracking watching this. So he gets up, Vitor comes, and he's okay. Vitor comes right after him again, just a barrage of shots, and he's moving, but he's not returning fire. And you could see that the ref is like, stop. You could tell he wanted to stop it a few times before he did. And Evander did protest. He was like, I'm okay. And he did seem okay, by the way. But this was one of those situations where the ref is supposed to look out for the health of the fighters. And everyone kept saying, had he been 38, this probably would have gone on longer. But because he was 58, this got stopped. And I was like, and that's the reason why this shouldn't have happened. If the ref is going to treat one fighter different because of their age or whatever reason that they feel that they're not as physically capable, that actually gives the fighter that the opposing fighter an advantage. That gives them an unfair advantage. It's like, all I got to do is put together a flurry and this ref's going to stop this fight because he's not going to let old man Holyfield to die in the middle of the ring. So that actually gives Vitor an advantage, and that was really clear, and just it seemed unfair. And I was happy that he made it out okay. For a 58-year-old man, he just was, just huge and yoked and looked very healthy for a 58-year-old man. But as far as him being in the ring, I don't even want to see him fight like another 58-year-old. Like, it sucks, but there are professions where you do age out. This is not like you're a marketing exec, and as long as you can keep up with the times and, what works for now, you're fine. But this is something different. It's not even like the big three where you're just not able to compete with the actual NBA, but you still got a lot left. You're physically healthy. You could still play ball. This was something different. He's not in the same physical condition as Mike Tyson, who is just a few years younger. He's not in the same, I think Mike Tyson's 54, correct me if I'm wrong. So he's not in the same physical condition. We all age differently. So I don't know how this was cleared. I think the medical clearing is very suspect, quite frankly. And I was just happy that he made it out okay. And he got a big payday after this. I don't know if he's going through financial issues or anything like that. But I was like, you know what? There was no one else they could get. Bernard Hopkins or somebody who's just a bit more physically capable. There was nobody else. So anyway, Vitor, he actually cut a good promo afterwards. He called out Little Paul, and he said some obscenities. He was like, "Come over here, son. I'll make you my son. I'll be your daddy." Da, 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 da. The way he did it was actually pretty good. I butchered it. So it was a good call out. And then he at first said $25 million on the line, winner take all. Then somebody else came in and said, added another $5 million, so $30 million to put it on, put it all on the line, winner take all. Someone let me know if the person who seemed very intoxicated was the actual Trilla, owner or producer, whoever, the one who actually offered the 25, because I was like, are you the guy? You're the guy. Anyway, so everything basically went off. Nobody got hurt. And who would you like to see Vitor fight next? Would you like to see him fight Little Paul? Let's see where we go from here. I know that I don't want to see anything like this again. Anybody in the condition of a Evander, I don't want to see them in any sort of combat sports situation. Sorry, that's just me personally. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if you were nervous watching this fight. Let me know if you felt like this fight should have happened. Let me know if you feel like there's an unfair advantage when you know that the ref's going to treat one fight differently because of their age. Just let me know how you felt about how this entire situation went down. And finally, I was nervous that having former President Trump and Little Trump on the show would take away from the broadcast, but I'm happy to say that he didn't. He was simply, it was like seeing Stephen A. Smith at an MMA broadcast, as far as he's got a casual level of understanding. You can tell he's been watching boxing for a while, but as far as breaking down skill and things of that nature, it's more of a surface knowledge. And as far as his MMA knowledge, he said about Anderson, he said, so this guy, he's known for his punching, right? And then he said, well, after this, his stock's gonna rise, or his stock should rise after this. I said that about Anderson Silva. Anyway, and because he's him, the program or the commentary booth was less informative. Because normally when the casual fan would say something like that, the other commentators would find a way to actually give the information. They would say, oh yeah, his stock's gonna rise up out of the world after this one because he's already one of the biggest MMA stars that we've known to date. He's done this, and that. You can find a way to give out the real information without, seeming disrespectful or like you're checking somebody. Plus, Trump was actually asking a lot of questions. So he seemed like he was open to learning. And then at one point he said something about the misdirection and the way that Anderson moves. He's like, oh, all of that means nothing. Not true. Anderson's the counter striker. He's trying to get his opponent to react. He's trying to get them to move. He's also doing misdirection, so you don't know what he's going to throw. Again, if there was somebody else on that broadcast, I feel like somebody would have chimed in and given us that information. So because it was him, there was a certain level of, there was different boundaries. It was just different, and it was less informative because of that, because they kind of played down to his level of knowledge. That's all. So because of that, it wasn't the best commentary, just because it was less informative. But as far as he didn't take away from the broadcast, and I don't really know what Little Trump's voice sounded like. I don't know if he was talking or if it was the other actual broadcast guy, because it was also JDS and Jorge Masvidal as well, and a broadcast guy. So I don't know if it was Little Trump or that guy. I don't know if Little Trump said anything. I'm sorry. And that's it. Let me know how you felt about the entire event, how you feel about both fights, who they should fight next, about having the Trumps on the cast. And yeah, just let me know how you enjoyed this event in memory of the events that happened on 9/11, which I still believe was in poor taste. Subscribe, like, talk to me, take care.